Okay, let's jump straight into the story of Snapchat. It's way more than just disappearing photos, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's really Evan Spiegel's journey, how it all began and, where it might be heading.
Yeah, there's a lot there, from those very first ideas to, well, maybe a completely different kind of future. It's quite a path.
It really is. And it's interesting, how sometimes those early missteps, they actually set the stage.
You mean like future freshmen?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That didn't quite land, but the lesson learned there, like you have to build something people will actually use, that was crucial.
totally. And you can sort of see that baked into early Snapchat, right? The whole focus on the camera first.
Yeah, getting the camera out, making it easy to share those quick, unfiltered moments.
And remember the first spectacles, that was a pretty big swing.
A bold move, definitely. Trying to change how we capture things.
But it didn't quite,
It didn't quite deliver that, 10x improvement over just using your phone, as Spiegel himself kind of noted. But even if spectacles weren't a huge hit on their own, that experiment sort of unlocked a bigger vision.
and that's where it gets really interesting for me. The idea moving beyond just sharing snaps.
Mm. It grew into something more ambitious, trying to change how tech works, maybe keep us a bit more grounded.
Less screen time, more real world.
Exactly. Re-engage with what's around us. And that feels like the driving force behind the whole long-term bet on AR wearables.
It's like this underlying question they keep asking.
What's that?
How can tech connect us, but like without actually isolating us more?
That's a great way to put it. The camera focus was about expression, but now it's bigger. It's about how we experience reality itself.
Okay, but let's talk competition.
Mm.
Because, wow, they've had features copied. Instagram stories is the obvious
Oh,
one.
for sure. A huge example. And Spiegel's talked about having sort of two minds on that.
How so?
Well, as a designer, seeing your ideas take hold, influence others, it's kind of exciting, right? Validation.
Yeah, I get that.
But then you put on the public company's CEO hat.
And suddenly it's pretty annoying.
Exactly. You need to protect your unique stuff.
So that pushed them towards things harder to just, rip off.
Seems like it. Things like the AR lenses, which are super sophisticated now, and the whole creator platform.
Because you can't just copy the tech, you need the creators too.
Precisely. Moving a whole community of creators and their audiences, that's really difficult. You can't just flip a switch.
And it's funny, even Stories itself wasn't like an overnight smash hit on Snapchat, was it?
Not at all. People were a bit skeptical at first. It took time.
So what made it click?
I think a few things. The chronological order felt different, more immediate than the algorithmic feeds popping up everywhere.
But less curated, maybe.
And the ephemerality, that clean slate every day, it took the pressure off. You weren't building this permanent, perfect profile.
Yeah, the feeling of just sharing something silly without it lasting forever, that must have been huge.
Definitely. And initially, it was really about your close friends, your family, that inner circle.
Did they see the whole creator thing coming, like individuals building huge audiences and making money from stories?
Well, they probably knew success meant ad opportunities, but the scale of individual creators becoming like their own media brands, I think that maybe surprised even them.
It's pretty wild.
The growth there has been phenomenal.
Which brings us to a really core decision. Opening the app straight to the camera, not a feed. Why?
It goes back to that idea of personal expression, doesn't it? Without the immediate comparison trap.
What do you mean?
If the first thing you see is this polished, algorithm-boosted content, you might feel like, oh, my boring lunch isn't worth sharing.
Okay, so opening to the camera is like an invitation for everyone to share, not just the pros.
Exactly. It lowers the barrier. Share that silly moment. It doesn't have to compete in a feed.
Whereas a feed-first approach makes more sense if you're really focused on creators reaching big audiences.
Right. But for the average person just connecting with friends, camera first encourages that immediate, authentic capture.
So where are creators on Snapchat now? Discover used to be mostly big media companies, right?
It shifted quite a bit. Yeah, Discover was very publisher heavy initially. Now you see tons of individual creators.
Like who?
People who maybe started just using it with friends. Now they have public profiles, big followings. Think David Dobrik, Brooke Monk, building real connections.
And how does video work across the app these days? It's not just stories.
Right. Stories are still key for deepening that connection with your existing fans. But then there's Spotlight,
That's more for discovery, short form stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Reaching new people. Creators can use Spotlight to kind of funnel viewers over to their stories. It's a different dynamic.
And creators can make money from both.
Yes, they have revenue sharing for both stories and Spotlight now. Figuring out how to attribute revenue in vertical video is always tricky, compared to old school in-stream ads.
Yeah.
But they've made progress integrating ads there.
What about longer videos? Are they pushing into that? Maybe even TV stuff?
Their focus for longer stuff seems mostly mobile, maybe around 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
What you do see is creators using short Spotlight clips to, drive tune in for longer videos or shows elsewhere.
So using Snapchat more as a discovery engine for other platforms.
Kind of, yeah. Especially for driving people to TV or longer YouTube content.
The whole media world is just upside down right now.
Yeah.
How does Snapchat see things? The struggles of traditional media, the rise of creators as info sources?
Well, Spiegel's talked about paywalls, how they can lock out younger people from quality news.
That's true.
And creators offer loads of different perspectives, which is good. But
Is a but.
yeah, he also flags the risk, right? The human tendency to grab on to simple explanations. Conspiracy theories can spread fast when it's all short-form, individual voices. It's complex.
Finding nuance is hard in short clips. That makes sense. On a totally different note, remember that story about the LA fire?
Oh, yeah. It was powerful.
Just showed the incredible speed of info sharing on Snapchat in a crisis.
Totally. Real-time, on-the-ground updates. And it also highlights why they work on verifying snaps on the Snap Map, especially for disasters. You need that trust.
Absolutely. And speaking of impact, the money side for creators is pretty significant now too, right? The payouts.
Huge. They mentioned, over $500 million paid out in 2024 to creators and publishers?
Wow.
Yeah, that's serious investment. It lets people actually build careers doing this full-time. Shows the platform's influence.
So how are people finding all this content now? Is discovery changing?
It seems like it. They're moving away from just clicking on those little story tiles.
Okay. Towards what?
More towards a full-screen, immersive way of just consuming content, trying to surface relevant stuff better, maybe less about gaming the clicks on tiles.
Interesting.
And Snapchat Plus users can even set, a default page they land on when they open the app. More control.
Okay. Looking further out now. AR wearables. That's clearly the big long-term play.
No doubt. The vision is AR glasses becoming the main way we compute, moving beyond screens.
What are the supposed benefits? Better posture.
That, engaging more with the real world, freeing up your hands, lots of potential upsides. But it's still a ways off for mainstream.
When do they think? End of the decade, maybe?
That seems to be the general industry vibe, yeah. The tech, optical engines, operating systems, it's all still evolving fast.
There's this worry, though, that if the tech itself is super entertaining, we'll just get lost in that and ignore other content.
The counterargument is that content is human connection, shared videos, AR experiences, whatever it is.
So AR could actually enrich other things, like learning or work.
That's the idea. Augmenting what we do, our connections, not just replacing everything with solitary entertainment, education, productivity. Big potential there.
Looking back at the whole journey, what are the key lessons? What do they learn building this thing?
I think deep empathy for users is huge. Like remembering how annoying it was to switch between photo and video on old phones.
Oh, yeah. The tap versus hold thing.
Exactly. That came from understanding user frustration and recognizing basic human stuff. We like stories told in order. We like things that disappear. We want spaces without constant judgment.
So let human needs lead, not just the tech.
Pretty much. Don't just build tech because you can. Build it because it serves a real human need or behavior.
And the partnership with Bobby Murphy, the co-founder, that seems vital too.
Oh, absolutely. From everything you hear, it's a really strong, complementary relationship, crucial for navigating all the ups and downs.
It's interesting how much TikTok's rise seemed to catch people, maybe even Snapchat, a bit off guard.
Yeah, that growth was explosive. A few things fueled it, right?
Like what?
Well, they threw a lot of money at creators and viewers early on, subsidies, and their algorithm for recommendations was just incredibly effective, incredibly quickly.
And the content style was different too.
Very different. TikTok leaned heavily into trends, challenges. Snapchat started from that place of just opening the camera, sharing your moment. Different philosophies.
So for creators trying to make it work today, what's the advice? It's chaotic out there.
Diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, especially with short-form video changing so fast.
But also,
Focus on the audience connection. Build something real, authentic. That relationship lasts even if platforms change.
What about the really young users? Gen Z, Gen Alpha. What keeps them coming to Snapchat?
For them, it really still seems to be about friends and family first, that core visual communication.
Just sending snaps back and forth.
Yeah, the power of just sharing visually, that immediate simple connection is still the main draw, it seems.
What are the big challenges for Snapchat right now as a business?
Well, improving the ad platform is always a big one. Competing effectively with the giants, showing results for advertisers, that funds everything else.
Right.
And balancing that with the long-term bets, investing in AI, investing in AR, that costs money and takes time.
Evan Spiegel seems pretty positive about being a public company CEO, which isn't always the case.
Yeah, he often talks about the discipline it brings, and maybe because of their control structure, they feel they can make those long-term bets.
Stick to the vision,
Exactly. Stay focused, even if the market takes time to catch up.
which feels very Snapchat, doesn't it? The consistency.
It really does. You look at the core app, the main interface, it hasn't radically changed its philosophy like some other apps. There's a strength in that founding vision.
So wrapping this up, it's really a story that's still unfolding. It's about people, how tech changes us, and this really ambitious idea for how AR might reshape things.
It definitely leaves you thinking, as this tech keeps evolving, how will we connect in the future? How will we share, communicate, just experience the world? It's a huge question.
Definitely gives you something to think about. See you soon.